You can also just say, what does learning German language consist of? If you ask me, there are three parts to it. You have to learn the grammar, you have to learn the vocabulary, and you have to do a lot of practice. Now, when I say grammar, it's just syntaxes, right? Where does the word, like where does the verb go, where does the noun go, where does the subject go, where does the object go? If you use an adjective, how does the adjective look like? How does the sentence look like in present tense, past tense, future tense, and so on, right? That's what the grammar is about. It's like formula. I mean, most of you guys are engineers, you don't have any problem saying mugging up formulas. But what will you do with the grammar if you don't have, okay, like you have a normal sentence is subject, verb, object, or object, verb, subject. And this is basic. And if you want to convert it to a w kind of question, you have w word, then you have verb, and then you have subject, and then you have object. But the formula will do nothing if you have no vocabulary. Like you need some vocabulary to put there in the subject part, in the verb part. That's where vocabulary comes into picture. Let's say if your grammar is perfect and you know all the vocabulary, you still have to combine the grammar and the vocabulary to say sentences, and to hear sentences, and to read sentences, and to write the sentences. That's where practice comes into picture, right? That's so practice is the most important part. Grammar, I will teach you. Vocabulary, I will teach you. Practice is what you need to do on your own, or like with others. I mean, so for grammar, vocabulary, it's you can do it on your own. For practice, you need at least one more person, right? That's why you're learning a language, so that you can communicate with at least one more person. Question is how to practice. Yeah, question is how to practice. There are four parts to practice. It's quite obvious. There is writing, reading, speaking, listening. I don't know about you, but 8 years ago, when I stepped into Goethe Institute to learn German language, all I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to write and speak. That's all I wanted to do. I did also want to read, but like just like not books and all, just wanted to read. That's it. But my main goal was that on the very first day, I wanted to write, and more importantly, I wanted to speak. Listening and reading, I thought, okay, yeah, it'll happen. Yeah. Turned out it was not the best approach. So you cannot write and speak before you listen. You learn to listen and read. Like for example, you cannot. I mean, what will you write if you have no vocabulary in your head? If you're not read anything, what will you speak if you don't have any vocabulary and if you did not hear someone else say something? What to speak about, right? So the first part is listening. You can also say the first part is reading. Both are fine. I think the first part is listening. When you uh, uh, the first like you really have to like push yourself to be in an environment where people are speaking German. This can be your meetings, office meetings, where if you are not supposed to understand everything, don't. Let's say this happens quite often. There is some meeting happening in the office, some annual meeting or like monthly meeting, and you are just participating passively in it, right? And they ask the question, hey, is there someone who does not understand German? And I have seen my friends say, yes, I don't. But I say, why? I mean, you don't have to understand everything. Just say, okay, I understand German. I will try to understand whatever I can, and if I don't understand, I'll ask you questions, right? That's one way to do listening practice. Reading, how you can do it, we'll talk about it. Once you do least I mean once I mean Now this 1 2 3 4 does not mean that you first listen everything you can, and then you read everything you can, and then you start writing. No, like I'm saying, this is how the process looks like. First you listen something, and let's say someone is saying something and you don't understand some word, right? But in your head there's this memory will be there that, okay, someone said use some word in some sentence. I did not know what it was. At some point you will see that word in written format, and once you see that in written format, you will know, okay, that's how the word spelling looks like, right? And then you may write something with it. Yeah. And once you write, because German is a phonetic language, the way you write is exactly the way you speak, right? So I'm saying this is how normal process works: listening, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Any questions about this, please ask. Now the question is, what should you read, listen, speak, or write? Yeah. What should you read, listen, speak, or write? Let's talk about reading and listening, because these are the first two things I think you should focus on. What should you read, and what should you write? Most of you, I believe, are concerned with German language exams, and also because I mean, that's the first thing, right? You want to do, right? Although I don't agree with it, but let's say the first thing you want to do is you want to pass the exams. Uh, Now, if you want to make sure that you don't fail any exam, all you have to do is simply every language exam, like the authority which is conducting, whether Goethe or Telk or whichever institute is conducting it, ask them which they use some publication. They recommend some publications, right? And they will use normally a course book and an Arbeitsbook. course book will be something like a textbook. A course book, Arbeitsbook, will be something like a exercise notebook, or like homework book, something like that. So all the institutes recommend course book and Arbeitsbook of a specific publication. You just get these two books and do all the reading exercises before you start to do anything, like watching random YouTube videos of guys how they spend their day from morning to evening in German. I mean, it's funny to watch, entertaining, but I'm saying, why do you want to do extra things if you have not done the basic part? Like, take the course book, Arbeitsbook. Those books have been written by really smart people who put some effort in writing a book. I mean, it's a book, right? So do all the exercises from the course book and Arbeitsbook, reading and listening, and then you can do something else. Yeah. If you have done the course book and Arbeitsbook exercises, what you can do now is, let's say, what should you read and what should you listen, right? You can, like watch videos on how to make, I don't know, like any kind of dish in German and thinking you're improving your German, or you can watch movies in German. You can watch movies on Hitler in German and think you are learning German. What you should instead do is, you are in this course, you are learning German, you have left your country to here to for a better career chance, right? So you have come to Germany to get a better career. And if I'm not wrong, lear- being able to speak German in your job will help you improve your career, right? Get better career chances. That's why I'm saying, whatever extra you do it related to your profession. For example, if you are a data engineer, then uh, if you're a data engineer, then watch videos like, I'm over here. I hope you can see my cursor. 1 second. Yeah. If you are a data, oh boy. So I'm over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. If you're a data engineer, then watch videos like Data Modeling 101 in German, right? If you are a recruiter, watch something. I don't know if something like this exists, Recruiting 101 in German. If you happen to be a nurse, right? Watch videos on uh, yeah, Krankenschwester, right? The same applies to reading. If you're a data engineer, then read, not write. Read small articles on data modeling, ETL pipelines. If you are an SAP developer, read stuff related to SAP. Go to SAP website, change the language to German, and read. You don't need to understand everything. Just read. See if you can read. Yeah. The same applies to any other profession. Uh, I'll answer your question. Just wait a minute, guys. Keep your hands raised. Yeah. Uh, Then let's talk about the vocabulary, right? So I said there is grammar, vocabulary, and practice to German language, and practice involves writing, reading, speaking, listening. And I told you what listening and reading are the first thing that you're supposed to do, and then move on to writing and speaking. And I told you what you should write, what you should read, and what you should listen. The first thing, you should focus on course book and Arbeitsbook exercises. After that, do reading and listening related to your profession, whatever your profession is. Uh, Now, vocabulary, I will teach you. Yeah. When it comes to the exam, I will teach you the vocabulary. You don't need to learn from me. You can also learn this on your own. You can just get hold of the book recommended by the institute, examination institute, and just learn the vocabulary. But I will also teach you this. Practice, you can hire a teacher. The teacher will also get hired by some other people, and then he'll put you in in a course, and he'll make sure that you guys have the right kind of discipline to practice, right? But you can also do this in your own on your own, right? Now, what normally people see is, like, they start asking, nothing wrong, even I have done that. You start asking in groups, hey, is there someone you want to practice German with me? It's not the best thing to do. I mean, of course somebody will say yes, and then the person has to be compatible with you. The schedules have to match so that you can practice with you. What is something simple you can do is, instead, is that most of you, if you're in Germany, you are working in an office, right? And you will have colleagues who speak German. One of these colleagues you may be very good friends with, you may be compatible with. Tell them, hey, can I just talk to you for 10 minutes every day, in German? And now the question is what to talk about, right? So you can just now you if the colleague says yes, then do it, right? And you don't have to um, feel that the colleague is doing you a favor. Buy them a coffee, buy something, like take them out for lunch, once in a while, or something simple, right? So that you don't feel the guilt that they are doing you a favor. Now, what to talk about? Like, I said every day 10 minutes talk to your colleague. What to talk about? Basic thing, just tell them how your day was, or you can choose any topic. For example, you can choose, if you are a data engineer, uh, try to read something on data modeling in German, Even though you may be like having 10 years of experience, the data architect, or you may be whatever, you may be very up in the hierarchy in your profession, but you're practicing German, right? So try to see if you can describe your profession in very simple words and say this to your colleague. And the colleague need not correct your grammar. All the colleague has to say is that, does the colleague understand what you are saying, and if it is right or wrong. Don't ask them to correct your grammar, right? Get this practice, right? So this is what I'm saying. Instead of looking for strangers online to practice German with you, look for people in your circle, in your immediate circle, life circle, right? Your office is the best place to look for. uh, Grammar, I will teach you the grammar. You can also learn this on your own. So grammar, vocabulary, you both can do on your own. There are books available, but this is what I will do. Practice is where I will push you in the right direction, but you have to do most of the work. uh, I'll teach you the grammar and the vocabulary from now onwards. We will start with Ravish. You have a question.